And now for your sports news, we're joined by NTD's Dave Martin. Dave, good to see you as always.
Good to see you, Arlene.
Yeah, standing
little different
tall.
spot here.
Yeah, we got the board here.
Kind of nice.
Yeah. All right. So I know we've got a lot going on. We've got college basketball, we've got NFL, but we've also got the Olympics. A lot going on there. So tell us about the opening ceremonies were held yesterday, right? And so were there any medals?
So the medals starting today. We got 5 events that had medals today. That was men's downhill skiing, you had women's cross-country skiing. We also had women's speed skating. It's a 3,000-meter event. We also had men's snowboarding and women's ski jumping. So let's take a look at the medals leaderboard here after 5 events. Excuse me, here we go. Here we go. After 5 events, you can see Italy, Japan, and Norway each have a gold, silver, and a bronze medal awarded. Now, you're probably asking, what about Team USA here?
I was wondering.
Unfortunately, we've got a bit of a goose egg right now. We're at 0 right now. No golds, no silvers, no bronzes. But we've got some prospects. You know, the women's hockey team right now is 2-0. Listen, the last 7 Olympics, they've either finished gold, silver, or bronze. They've got 2 golds in there. So that should be coming. It won't be over, though, for at least another week or so there. We've also got the team figure skating event, always a very popular event. Now, there's 8 total events in this whole event. Right now, through 5 events, the USA is in first place in there. There's 3 more events tomorrow, so we'll find out how they do there. Now, meanwhile, we've got 5, as I said, 5 events total. There's going to be 116 when all is said and done. So these numbers will be much bigger in about 2 weeks' time.
Now, are the Winter Olympics something that the U.S. normally does pretty well in?
Well, they usually are in the top, I would say, top 3 or 4. I think the last time the U.S. had the most golds or the most medals, it was 1932, so it's been quite a while. Back then, these numbers were all pretty low. They didn't have too many events back then.
Yeah.
But they're usually at least in the top 3 or 4. Norway is usually one of the best events or best countries at this. Most of those European countries usually do better at the Winter Olympics. The U.S. is a lot better at the Summer Games, we'll say. But they're at least competitive in the Winter
We
Games.
have ice skating still, so I'm looking forward to that.
We've got ice skating, we've got hockey, we've got snowboarding, looking forward to Chloe Kim. I'm sure like Lindsey Vonn as well as Michaela Schifrin as far as women's skiing. They I would think are good candidates to bring in medals. You never know. Sometimes there's a breakout star at the Olympics. So, not to worry yet.
All right. So now let's talk about Super Bowl, which is tomorrow. And this is the biggest game of the year for all of us. So who are you picking to win?
Well, I am picking the Seattle Seahawks right here.
The Seattle Seahawks.
It's a very close pick, Arlene. I got to say, they're slight favorites here, so I'm not quite going out on a limb. Anywhere from like 3 to 5 points here. Statistically, these 2 teams are very close, I would say. Both rank in the top 5 in fewest points allowed on defense. Also rank in the top 5 in most points scored on offense. I really felt like in these playoffs, so it's kind of been redemption for Seahawks quarterback Sam Darnold. Last year was his breakout season in Minnesota. After bouncing around the league for a few years, he didn't have the same success, though, in the playoffs for Minnesota, and the Vikings lost in the first round. But that was his breakout season for sure. Now, this year in the playoffs, he's got 4 touchdowns, just no interceptions through 2 games, has completed 70% of his passes. So he's really looking good. Now, that's not to say that Patriots aren't looking good if Drake May, their quarterback. He was a finalist for the MVP award. He's just 23 years old. He's found success earlier in his career in the NFL. He was a finalist for MVP. That actually, though, went to Matt Stafford, who was awarded the winner of that. I think his time will come. I'm just not guessing that it'll come tomorrow. So that's my pick.
Well, a lot of people like the Patriots, right?
A lot of people like the Patriots. They gained a lot of fans after that dynasty. I mean, six Super Bowl wins in the last, 25 years, I guess we're at now. Nobody else has 6 Super Bowl wins, period. So, yeah, it's a lot of people like them. You can also say they're kind of like the Yankees. A lot of people like them. A lot of people don't like them. You could also say that about the Dodgers at this point after winning 3 of the last 6 World Series. If you're successful, you'll get a lot of bandwagon lovers as well as people who don't like all that success. So, I'm going to say
time for someone else to win, right?
Time for someone else to win. That's what I'm thinking.
That's what you're thinking.
That's what I'm thinking.
Well, good luck with that. I hope it works out.
Thank you.
All right, so we're going to stay with the NFL. We've got the president of the league's Hall of Fame said they would consider making changes to the voting process, and this is after Bill Belichick didn't get in. So what's going on there?
Well, this is the president of the Hall of Fame, Jim Porter. He said any changes were not specific to Belichick not making the Hall of Fame on his first try. Now, there's no official word as to how or why Belichick didn't get the required 40 out of 50 votes to get in. Now, especially given that he won more Super Bowls than anyone, we were just talking about that. He won 6 Super Bowls. He's won the second most games overall in regular season and playoffs. So it's kind of hard to see from that point why he would not have been elected. Now, some of the changes they were discussing were whether voters violated the rules by not voting for the most deserving. Now, that seems pretty obvious, but there's a popular belief that some voters, they'll look at some candidate, an obvious candidate like Belichick would be, and think that everybody else is going to vote for them, so they might leave them off their ballot and vote for somebody else that might not normally get his number of votes just because they think, well, this person definitely needs to get in. I want to see them as well as Belichick get in. And they've tried to say, that's really not supposed to be part of the process. But there's also some who believe that Belichick, he had that cheating scandal that the Patriots were involved in. He was found guilty back in 2007. There are some who believe that people just said, well, for that, you're not going to get on your first try. But Belichick, though, I would think he is going to get in very soon. It'll probably be his second try after the outcry after this happened. That's my opinion.
That's your opinion.
That's me. That's my opinion. I would have voted for the guy.
Well, we care about your opinion, Dave.
Thank you, Arlene. Not everybody does.
Well, we do here. All right, so now we're going to switch to, now that we got your opinion, we're going to switch to college basketball because I know there's a lot of games going on this weekend. You're always watching all weekend long. So where do things stand right now?
Yeah, let's get you started here. Let's start off right here in the Big Ten. Nebraska, maybe the surprise of the season. They won again today at Rutgers, 80-68. And they are 21-2 on the season. Now, meanwhile, Oregon, who is not having a good season, lost again. Ducks are now just 8-15 on the season, lost at Purdue there. And the SEC, Arkansas took care of Mississippi State 88-68. We got some more scores here too. ACC here, Louisville, 24th ranked. They won at Wake Forest 88-80. Meanwhile, Syracuse not having a good season as well there. Lost at Virginia 72-59. Iowa State, they got the same record now as Nebraska, 21-2, and they hold on to beat Baylor. Baylor not having a great season here either. We go to the Big 12. Kansas beats Utah 71-59.
I know you're glad about that.
That is 7th win in a row for Kansas right here. And yes, I am very happy about that. But they've got number 1 Arizona on Monday, so we'll have to see about that.
All right.
Elsewhere, St. Louis Billikens 82-58. They won over LaSalle. Billikens are now 23-1 on the season, one of the underrated teams in America. And probably the only upset of the day. Oklahoma won at Vanderbilt. Now, normally you wouldn't think that's an upset, but the Sooners, this is just their 2nd win in conference. Meanwhile, Vanderbilt drops to 19-4.
That must have hurt 1 point.
That was a painful one, That was one of those where there's about 10 timeouts in the last minute while everybody tries to score a few points and get a few free throws in. We done 2 more late scores in Miami of Ohio and number 1 Arizona. The only 2 undefeateds left. Both teams won today. Arizona had no trouble with Oklahoma State. I think they beat them by 37 points. Meanwhile, Miami of Ohio won by 16 points. Then, right now, should be starting the big game of the day. Duke versus North Carolina.
Duke.
Yeah, the Tobacco Road rivalry. Duke, just 1 loss in the season. They lead the ACC right now, but of course those Duke-Carolina games are unpredictable. They are very rabid fans, those basketball fans there in North Carolina. So that should be a good one. That is starting right now, 6:30 Eastern time.
All right, well,
so
you better get going.
I know, I need to go watch this game here.
Well, good luck and have a good night watching the games.
Thank you, Arlene.
All right, and thanks for the update.
Yeah, you're welcome.
All right.